Bonjour, hi. Here's a small video about the irrationality of being part of one religion. So I would call it the geographical blanket of spirituality. Like we all pulling to each other, like who has the best spirituality. Also the geography of ridicule, what makes a part of the world some beliefs very serious in that place, taken seriously, but ridicule for the other side of the world, which can be laughable, like the ghost, for example, in Laos, or in some parts of Thailand or in Vietnam, that they believe quite strongly, and then the Christianism that can be weird unless it's introduced by proper missionaries, and I'm not talking about the sex position, introduced by some missionaries very seriously, church next, and then starting like a battle of communication, some propagandas, and who is the one who sounds the most spiritual, most attractive. And well, anyway, I like actually religion through the metaphors. I like Jesus and Shiva a lot, so he's a painting representing both vibes. And as I would quote Gilles Deleuze, the French philosopher of like the 70s, 80s, he was talking about personnages conceptuels, conceptual characters. So used as a metaphor, like each character can hold a whole concept within them, and this concept can be is embodied in this character, but is basically the most interesting part of the whole thinking behind. Like for example, I think Christ is way more interesting than the Christian institution, well, way more, like so much more. The Pope being like one of the wealthiest person on earth, while Jesus was close to be a hobo, like the Buddha, which I respect way more actually. I like to quote also Saint Augustine for the Jesus part, like the Christian part, I mean, who said the ones who are the richest are not the ones who have the most, get the most, but the ones who need the less. So that's a very interesting one, even if it can be also like to be an encouragement to worship poverty. Blessed are the poor, than being stuck in that opium for the people, because the more you're desperate and poor, the more you can turn into something Allah, or like the Lord, to Christ, and or the God himself. So anyway, this geographical blanket of spirituality, I call it this way, makes it that in every place you go, people may believe you're born from that religion, that it's just your culture to be from that religion, and here you are just maintaining the statu quo. Like if you are son of an atheist, probably you're gonna repeat your parents, like me, but in case you go back to some religion, or strangely you would go into Christianism, in my case Catholicism, because my grandparents were Catholic. And strangely, for the critical thinking, I got to find a way to cut also with the wannabe all the time rationalism of atheism from my own parents, while still not going to the past as a method for like this uncertain future, which would be to then go into the what is called the holy book. Like in Islam, it's like only one God, one the prophet Muhammad, and peace upon him, as they say, and then the holy book Al Quran, one book then to rule them all. So with the Bible, boys, let's say it's a bit more complicated. Bible bibliography comes from the same thing, the book. Bible means the book basically, but written by humans. At least it's admitted it's written by humans, while Al-Quran would have been directly given, like dictated by God to Gabriel, the archangel, who then gave it to Muhammad, who learned how to read once he received it, which is technically a more divine book than the Bible, which is written by humans, but then taken very seriously with all the saints, like Jesus' apostles, and it's mysterious who exactly wrote the books, but no matter what, they were really smart. And at this time, it was necessary, I guess, to try to stabilize societies, telling them how things could work out, And even if they were the paganism, that was somewhat very open minded, taking gods a bit everywhere, but with the sacrifices and everything. For me, there's a part of sacrifice in the story of Abraham anyway, like Aztecas could do. You could see Ibrahim for the Muslim, ready to kill his son Isaac to show his perfect obedience to the one only God. Okay, with somewhat a bit possessive, jealous, like yeah, like kind of doing tantrums, this God. It's, if you want to be really religious, sometimes you may need to be free from God himself, to be able to tell no. Well, if you ask me this, then send me to hell. Maybe Satan is nicer. You will not ask me such a thing, Yeah, but it was a test. Okay. Then comes theology, and the theology can be this spiritual masturbation that all have taken with such a dead serious face, so seriously, with the weight of legacies from the past that you need technically to honor, even if there was a cut with the pagan legacies. You wanna then prove you're French, so you need to be proud Christian, and or like a Spanish, same, Mexican, almost same, but before they were actually pagans, Aztecas, Mayas, Zapotecas, Olmecas, and stuff. And so it's very, very interesting civilizations. But then, no, let's take from the conquerors. Anyway, okay. Most of North Africa, actually, also the Black Lives Matter thing is kind of strange that in the most are proud to be Christian, while in the Bible there's this story of Cham, the third son of Noah, who got cursed by God himself for not having put a blanket to Noah, who was drunk and naked after the boat. This deluge story with all this water, and not very open-minded neither, to just wipe out the whole world except this boat. But anyway, another story again. Just to say, to conclude, not only there's this geographical blanket, so if you travel, like let's say by land, as I did, except for Pakistan, that didn't give me a visa, and one day, inshallah, you go from China, then you have people telling you about the ghost, don't go to Guilin, that's what I've been told, because there are ghosts who are not good for your business. So if you have business ideas, as I love creativity, but I'm very bad in trust though, because I tend to trust quite easily, expecting they will not scam me as I would not scam them. This taking it romantically almost, and no, that's not that easy. But anyway, they would bring you bad luck, this ghost. So that's not okay. Okay, so for Westerner, that sounds ridiculous. Ask them in the East. Even if you call China the atheist republic, they really have a lot of superstitions still now. They pray a lot for money, which is kind of honest, I would say, but for me, from my cultural background with a lot of Catholicism, it's quite not well seen, to be that money-minded. And they go, then you go through Tibet, so it's more like a Buddhist, or if you go to Xinjiang, we need to talk about the Uyghur at some point. Great people, but like now China trying to uniform all of that according to the Han identity, and this new codification, I don't know how to say it, of the secretary of the Communist Party, which is a paradox for atheists. Go to Tibet, Nepal, then Xinjiang, you have the Muslim then, but apparently some problems, it's political also. Tibet, Nepal, you go into Buddhism, then you discover this Hindu part of Nepal, and then in India, it's like just everything you think is just falling down. It's just a mix of nonsense and making sense, and you feel crazy, but you're like, oh, maybe I'm not the only one crazy, so maybe it's a good thing. You feel just drunk all the time. That's how I felt the first times. Then I kind of got used to it. Then you just happy for nothing. People can ask you, what are you taking? No, nothing special, you know. Okay. Sometimes you end up actually seeing sadhus who tell you to smoke the chillum with them in the name of Shiva spirituality. Okay, it's good to to smoke this gancha and to open the third eye, as they say. They see a dark way for spirituality. I would never see a French priest like telling you to smoke some weed to be connected closer to God. But actually, there was the Rastafarism also. So interesting, interesting. It's good to be spiritual sometimes. Um, and then they go to. I continued to Dubai. I got take a flight. Then well, Dubai. Strangely, Al Quran was in my bag, and okay, it helped me to be accepted more easily by the customs, who asked me if I got some drugs. So no, 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 because they knew I was coming from India. Have you been to Goa? Yeah, yeah. Do you smoke? No, no. Pinocchio style, you know. I went then to Iran by boat. And that's in Iran where that's what I want to say in the end of the story. Like I've been asked, so you are Christian in Isfahan? Amazing place, really amazing place. Beautiful square, huge dome of the mosque and stuff. Um, Blue roofs, and it's a very amazing place. Isfahan in the center of Iran, in Persia. Islamic Republic of Iran. Okay. And I've been asked, oh, you're Christian, right? I'm like, no. Why I would be Christian? But because you're white. I don't know. Then that's when I saw the thing. I'm like, no, no, I'm Buddhist, just to see. I showed them like I got something, a necklace from Tibet. Okay, no, I'm Buddhist. You Buddhist? And me, I'm like, why? Because I'm not like this. I cannot be Buddhist. You racist. That's how I felt at this time. But like this moment showed a lot. That's when I understood. I call it. I understood it kind of before in theory, but I just saw it completely in practice in that moment. That they think that you have your religion according to your geography, where you come from. You just stick to it, you know. So that's once I understood this. But once in Turkey, I met some very fans of Ataturk, so they were like, "Boy, enough of religion, long live secularism, like laïcité in French," which made actually strangely Turkey and France the two only secular countries. Even if Erdogan is turning crazy against France, that's what links Turkey and France so much. And knowing also that there was this old alliance between Francois Francois I, the French king, and Sultan Mehmet the Magnificent, if I remember correctly, of the Ottoman Empire back in the time. But that's like old tradition. So it's kind of strange that now there's this clash of civilizations, to quote Samuel Huntington, between France and Turkey in this moment, when they technically are both secular. So yeah, Erdogan wishes to be a sultan, I guess. Okay, using anger, and it's so easy to manipulate masses. You can see. I mean, just read the reactions from the Muslim world, like in Dhaka, in Pakistan. Hashtag boycott French products, and being angry really for nothing for a guy who basically just showed drawing. How can we understand that we get ahead, but I will repeat it many times, I guess, that one. So it's just drawings. Even I'm not a fan of being that mean, but this cute provocation, a little bit to make thoughts, provoked. Sometimes it's necessary to provoke some thoughts, I would say, like if you never, if you just want to repeat your parents and so on, you maintain a statu quo. Well, okay. So that's where I want to go. It's like there is a huge affection that we all have for our parents, that we feel if we don't think the same way as they tell us how to think, like this, with love, Yeah, with love, but still, it's like spiritual rape. And then you may be unfaithful, unloyal to your own parents, who after all brought you in this life. You cannot talk about your dad this way. Your mom this way and so on, which I completely understand. But then if you feel you need to feel guilty not to be married before 25, and that maybe you were close to lose your virginity before the wedding, and things like this, you may create a huge schizophrenia in your mind. So we all have one somewhat anyway, with this social media thing telling us what to think, to be ourselves. But oh, wait, not like this though. Just be respectful and positive and think just to make money, and use spirituality, mixing all of them, saying they all say the same thing very nicely. They were just open-minded all the time. Forget the Crusades, Inquisition, the jihad and everything. No, never happened. Just the God was love all the time, and use it for good spirituality to increase your capital and buy things you don't need and enjoy that, and show your last iPhone, and just flex to get some likes, from girls who don't care about you, or boys who just wanna do some round trips in your garage and then live like this.